BioVivacious. I'm Sebastian. BioVivacious is a YouTube channel dedicated to clear fundamentals of biosciences and make the subject exciting. Welcome to a session on understanding glycogenesis, and as the name suggests, it is synthesis of glycogen, a polymer of glucose which is being stored in, especially in liver as well as in muscle. There are very interesting stories about glycogenesis. A lot of contribution in glycogenesis as well as its degradation is conducted by Gerty Cori and Carl Cori. So initially it was thought that glycogenesis is exactly the reversal of glycogenolysis. But later on it was proved that no, it cannot be. It cannot be exactly the reversal of glycogenolysis. Why? Because there are several reasons. One reason we had seen in our earlier video, that is the intracellular inorganic concentration, inorganic phosphate concentration is very high. That we have seen it. It is 1 phosphate. It is about 100. So therefore it will drive the reaction more towards breakdown of glycogen rather than synthesis. And the second reason is they did carry out synthesis of glycogen by using glycogen phosphorylase enzyme. But then what happened was, the kind of, it is in the laboratory, but the kind of glycogen which is formed is very small, which is not what is normally seen in a cell. And the third reason, the difficulty which they encountered is glycogen metabolism is, one of the hormone which will regulate glycogen metabolism is epinephrine. So epinephrine is controlling glycogen metabolism. It is activating glycogen metabolism only in the direction of its breakdown, not in the direction of its synthesis. So these were the three. So epinephrine promoting breakdown. Okay. So these three reasons they suggested, they concluded that yes, there has to be a different mechanism for synthesis of glycogen. So that is a time, especially in 1957, a scientist who are working with Cori and Cori, his name is Louis Leloir. So we came across Louis Leloir as part of galactose metabolism. So Louis Leloir discovers a molecule called UDP glucose, and he is correlating the role of UDP glucose in glycogen synthesis. So these were some of the starting points for understanding or devising a different pathway for glycogen metabolism, especially in the synthetic reaction. Let us look at how exactly UDP glucose is formed. So UDP glucose is formed from glucose 6-phosphate. So that is a starting point for glycogen synthesis also. So glucose 6-phosphate is converted to glucose 1-phosphate. So therefore, this reaction is catalyzed by phosphoglucomutase enzyme. So once you have glucose 1-phosphate, now this glucose 1-phosphate is acted upon by UTP. Now remember, UTP has got 3 phosphate groups. So this inorganic phosphate will act on the alpha phosphoester bond. Alpha phosphorester bond. So what will happen is a PPI, that is the beta and the gamma diester, that is liberated, and you will get UDP glucose. So you will get UDP glucose plus PPI. Now this reaction is catalyzed by an enzyme known as UDP glucose, catalyzed by UDP glucose pyrophosphorylase. So this is the enzyme which will do the catalysis, UDP glucose pyrophosphorylase. Now, if the delta G of this reaction is 0, you understand, when it is 0, it can go in either way. So now we want to ensure that the reaction goes towards the completion. So therefore, what is the other alternative? So we have to break this pyrophosphate. So the next reaction is PPI. PPI plus H2O, that will cleave into 2 Pi molecules. That is catalyzed by enzyme pyrophosphatase. So therefore, you understand that here this has got a minus 33.5 kilojoules per mole energy exchange. Okay, so this will drive the reaction. Recollect all the times that we have been talking about, whenever such a reaction comes, hydrolysis of pyrophosphate gives or drives biochemical reactions in the forward direction. So therefore, what we have created is, we have created the molecule which we needed for glycogen synthesis, that is UDP glucose. Now, let us use UDP glucose for synthesizing glycogen. So with UDP glucose, as you know, UDP glucose is the glucose donor in the biosynthesis of glycogen. So this will combine with an existing glycogen molecule. Okay, assume that the glycogen has got n number of residues. So therefore, this will become glycogen n plus 1 molecule. So this glucose is transferred here. So it becomes glycogen n plus 1 molecule and it becomes UDP. So this reaction is catalyzed by another very important enzyme, and that enzyme is glycogen synthase. Okay, so the most important enzyme for synthesizing glycogen is glycogen synthase. Now remember, glycogen synthase has a problem. It cannot link two individual units of glucose together. So it always needs glycogen as a primer. So then only it is able to add this. So what happens to this now? What happens to this UDP? So that is an interesting story. So what happens to this UDP to complete the reaction? What happens to this is, now this UDP combines with another ATP molecule and it becomes UTP, because we wanted UTP for getting converted to UDP glucose, UTP plus ADP. So this reaction, to complete the whole reaction, this is catalyzed by an enzyme called nucleoside diphosphokinases. Okay, so with that we can increase the number of glucose residues in a glycogen. Look at the 5 enzymes that have taken part in glycogen synthesis. One is phosphoglucomutase for converting glucose 6-phosphate into glucose 1-phosphate. Then to make UDP glucose, we needed UDP glucose pyrophosphorylase enzyme. Then to cleave pyrophosphate into 2 inorganic phosphate, we needed a pyrophosphatase enzyme. Then we use glycogen synthase enzyme, and finally nucleoside diphosphokinases. So this is how glycogen will be synthesized. Let us write a stoichiometry for glycogen synthesis. So all the reactions are written here, all the 5 reactions. Whatever is common, we keep cancelling. So this is cancelled, this is cancelled, this UTP is cancelled, this UTP is cancelled. One UDP glucose is cancelled. PPI is cancelled. Okay, so here we have, what else is left? UDP is here, UDP is cancelled. So in the remaining one is glucose 6-phosphate. What else is here? H2O plus glycogen n number of residues and ATP. That will give, here you have 2Pi plus ADP plus glycogen n plus 1 residue. So therefore, glucose 6-phosphate plus ATP molecules, H2O molecules, glycogen N plus 1 molecule plus ATP, that will give rise to 2Pi plus ADP plus glycogen N plus 1. So therefore, the investment of energy in glycogen synthesis is what you need to notice in the overall stoichiometry of this particular reaction. 3 points that we need to understand about glycogen metabolism is, one is polymerization, initiation and branching. Polymerization, we have just understood how by using UDP glucose, how polymerization can occur. Now, we have been repeatedly saying that glycogen synthase is not able to attach two individual glucose units to make a polymer. So you need to have a starting point. The starting point is something called a primer. So in our case, in the equation when we wrote it something like this: glycogen N number of residues. So you need a starter. How do you make this starter? That is how we are going to understand by the process of initiation. So how to make the initial glycogen residue? So there is a protein called glycogenin. It is a protein, 37 kilodalton protein, the glycogenin. Now in glycogenin, in 194th residue is a tyrosine. Okay, 194th residue is a tyrosine residue. This 194 tyrosine, you know that it has a hydroxyl group. Now this tyrosine residue, there is an enzyme. The name of the enzyme is tyrosine glucosyl transferase enzyme. Okay, so this enzyme is capable, assume this is the glycogenin protein, assume this is the tyrosine 194th residue. Now with the help of this enzyme is capable of attaching a glucose residues to it. Okay, so it will attach a glucose residues. Now this glycogenin itself will keep on attaching glucose residues. Okay, I am rubbing this. So therefore here is a glucose residue attached. So similarly it will keep on attaching several residues to it. This is how the basic priming of glycogenin occurs. Okay, so up to 8 residues it will be added. Glycogenin can add. After the addition of about 8 residues, now glycogen synthase will come into action. Now the glycogen synthase will add 9, 10, 11 like that. Residues will be added. What is important for us to notice is, see where the residues are added, it is always at the non-reducing end. The new glucose residues are added at the non-reducing end, it is added. And by addition, the UDP will move away and glucose is getting attached. At this side will be the 4th OH, to that the first OH will get added and a glycosidic bond will be formed. So this is how initiation will occur. Now let us look at how exactly branching occurs. So if this is how a unit of glycogen that is growing, then now you need to have a branching. Now to have a branching, you need to have an enzyme. And the name of the enzyme for branching is amylo alpha 1,4 to alpha 1,6 trans glycosylase. So the enzyme is amylo alpha 1,4 to 1,6 trans glycosylase. What is the function of this enzyme? This enzyme does two things. The two things it will do is, number one, it has to break one alpha 1,4 linkage and it has to make one alpha 1,6 linkage. Break one alpha 1,4 and make one alpha 1,6 linkage. And there are certain rules for this. First of all, it will break, if there are 11 residues, it will normally break when there are many residues. Assume there are 12, 13 like this. Assume there are 13 residues in our branch. So it will take about 4 residues away from a branch point. Okay, assume in the original thing we had a branch point here at the 4th position, there was a branch point. So it will leave about 4 residues, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 residues are left and the remaining residues are transferred. So that is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It breaks this glycosidic bond and it's added here. So you have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is added here. So therefore what do you see now? You see that with the help of this enzyme, you have created non-reducing end number 1 and non-reducing end number 2. Okay, 2 non-reducing ends are created. Remember, in the earlier sessions we have said that higher the number of non-reducing ends, greater will be the biodegradability or solubility for glycogen. Now as you know, you can have another glycogen synthase can add glucose residues here. This also another glycogen synthase can add glucose residues here. So this way the molecule will keep on growing larger and larger and larger. So therefore it will create again, same enzyme will come, it will create another branch point. So many branches will be created in glycogen molecule and it becomes a large molecule with about up to 40 nanometer size. So this is how synthesis of glycogen occurs.